Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ag Commodity Corner Plus podcast. Today is August the 15th, 2025, and this is week 21. It's just me doing the podcast this week. Mo's on the Great Ontario Yield Tour. He's midway through the tour, and we'll get into what the tour has been showing us. The topic for this week's podcast is USDA shock surprises with the August USDA crop report, plus Houston. We have a problem in Ontario. Let's start by taking a look at what prices did this week. As you can see there, grains excepting canola and wheat closed higher this week. Like I was saying, it was USDA week. The crop report can be deemed as bearish corn, supportive soybeans, and sort of neutral wheat. But it seems as if a lot of those bearish numbers and the bearish news was already baked into prices. So at the end of the week, corn actually closed slightly higher. Soybeans closed higher. The report seemed to have been supportive soybeans. Wheat lower though. Canola, on the other hand, was reeling from geopolitics and the latest Chinese tariffs on Canadian canola. So canola closed $8.50 lower. On the other hand, it's sort of like a broken record as far as Bitcoin and AI stocks and the stock indexes are concerned. Bitcoin climbed into new record high territory this week, and AI stocks did the same as well, which boosted the stock indexes. Let's start by looking at the USDA crop report. So, like I was saying, the crop report was bearish corn, and what it did was it raised the corn yield figures from 181 bushels per acre to a huge 188.8 bushels per acre this month. And shockingly, USDA also increased corn acreage. It was an acreage switch from corn to soybeans, so soybean acreage went down. On the whole, the bottom line hit was that the ending stocks figure for 25-26 corn increased by over a billion bushels. And it went above, and it was taken above 2 billion bushels this month. Sort of reminds us of last year when USDA raised corn ending stocks in the summer above 2 billion bushels. At that time, corn, that was for the 24-25 crop. At that time, corn futures bottomed out close to 365. We are currently trading slightly higher than that, but that's possibly the support target for corn. It seems as if in the August USDA has a tendency to bloat up those figures, because a lot of the input for the report seems to be coming from farmer surveys and also the NDVI vegetation maps as well. It's not a boots on the ground sort of survey or analysis that goes into creating those numbers. And 17 out of the last 32 years, we've had the final January crop report show production numbers and yield numbers come in lower than what they would have or USDA would have announced during the summer. We had the same case this year as well. We had a bullish surprise during the Jan 2025 crop report. For all we know, these numbers, and especially this yield figure from USDA for corn, could be the highest for the cropping year. When USDA increased corn ending stocks, they actually reduced soybean ending stocks, although yield was increased, and that's owing to that acreage switch from soybeans to corn, which basically reduced the soybean acreage. Next week, we have the Pro Farmer Tour beginning, which should show us more of what actually is happening in the fields. Don't get me wrong, it still looks like a record yield. It's just possibly not as big as what USDA is reporting at 188.8. We had the DTN Digital Tour as well, which which happened this week, and they too are reporting big numbers for each of those states that they toured. And for the big ice states, all those figures are coming in well above 200 bushels per acre. Their final yield estimate for the U.S., I believe they would be coming out with those numbers next week. But on the whole, we could be looking at a situation but we need to get past the September crop report. We could be looking at a situation where corn prices could bottom out as we go into the latter parts of August and possibly into September. And when USDA came out with those figures, it does not seem to have been taken into account the crop health per se, and it seems as if a lot of disease pressure is affecting the crops in the Midwest, and especially Iowa. Northeastern Iowa seems to be the hotspot for disease. And as far as southern rust is concerned, every county in Iowa seems to be affected. And this is a map from Crop Protection Network. And they say that this situation is something that we haven't seen in the last 25 years or so. And a lot of this has to do with excessive moisture, and in fact, July dealt Iowa with over 200% of normal precipitation. So this is one reason that could bring down the final yield figures or the production estimates. And moving on to headlines. Earlier in the week, Trump on the social network posted that he would be urging China to quadruple their soybean orders. It was headline news that actually led to some activity in the soybean market early on in the week. Also on the same day, there was headlines that NVIDIA and AMD are going to pay 15% of their China chip sale revenues to the U.S. government. Our theory, and this could be something that could be developing, could be that so Trump and Xi, the Chinese Premier Xi, are scheduled to meet possibly during the Apec Summit in October. This could be a give and take sort of situation where Trump could be saying that he's agreeing to sell AI chips to China, and on the other hand, it could be his way of saying China should be looking to buy more soybeans from the U.S. This could be a win for the U.S. soybean farmer, and we could be getting more details as we get nearer to the Apec Summit. For all we know, Trump could be having a deal in his back pocket, and we could get more details on that as we get closer to that Apec Summit. It's just a theory that we have been mulling over, and we could be getting more details on all of that as we get closer to the Apec Summit. And I spoke about soybeans, and the futures chart has recovered during this week owing to some of those headlines from earlier in the week, and also due to that supportive USDA August crop report. As far as technical levels are concerned, 10.3125 seems to be the level of resistance. A break above that sets up 10.70 to 10.8, and a break above that could set it up on course for $12 soybeans as we go through the rest of the year. As far as demand is concerned, today we had NOPA come out with crush figures which were quite strong and beat trade expectations. They were the highest in 6 months and up by about 5.6% from June and 7% from a year ago. Looking at the main topic of today's, one of the main topics of today's podcast, Houston, we have a problem in Ontario as far as the crop is concerned. It does not look to be as good a crop as we had during the last couple of years. We had a good run of 5 years when we had strong yields and good crop production potential, but that run seems to have come to an end. The southwest of the province seems to be doing well, and some strong yield figures seem to be in effect there. But as we go further east, and this picture of the field is from Norfolk County. Norfolk County seems to be one of the problem areas. Some of the yield estimates have been dropping as we go further east. It does not look like a record crop, and to get more info on all of that, please follow us on Twitter, or X as it is called, and take a look at the latest that Mo and Henry Prinzen from Mazex, who's the chief agronomist for the tour and for Mazex, they've been posting every day, and also our scouts in the field have been posting every day. So take a look at what the tour has been showing us. It does not look to be anything close to what we've seen over the last couple of years. Don't forget to try our free trial of the program. I'll leave a link in the description below. This week, we spoke about the USDA crop report and also the game plan for both cash and livestock producers as we look ahead for the rest of the cropping year. Also, you can try our app as well, which gives you data on a live basis of what we are recommending, or also on crop prices. Don't forget to join our marketing club as well. This here is a map of the wildfire situation in Canada. So as of now, over 700 wildfires seem to be burning in Canada. It's a dire situation, and 75% of them seem to be out of control. A lot of the issue also stems from how dry it's been, especially in Western Canada and the prairies. The prairies are the hotspot, but it is not limited to the prairies of Western Canada, towards the east as well. And some of those regions towards the east seems to be reeling from these wildfires. It's the second, as of now, it's the second worst wildfire season on record, second to 2023. There are wildfire issues in New Brunswick, Newfoundland, and Labrador, and some of that is also out of control. The big question is the lack of sunlight due to the wildfire smoke, is that damaging the crops, not just in Canada, but the whole region, including the U.S. Midwest as well. I spoke about this initially when we were going through the market price action for the week. China has slapped new tariffs on Canadian canola. So the latest is that China is slapping 75.8% tariffs on Canadian canola. And this comes at an inopportune time, just in time for the 2025 harvest. And the tariff imposition has already begun as of this week. A silver lining, if you were to be looking for silver linings, is that the Canadian government is looking into no imports of used cooking oil from China and allowing the Canadian farmer to fill that void. So it allows the Canadian farmer to participate, and it in turn reduces the dependency of the Canadian canola industry by about 50%. It reduces the dependency on the Chinese market by about 50%. Moving on and looking at the livestock sector, the pork cutouts and also cash has been holding strong and has been resilient, which has been supporting the whole industry and also the prices across the industry. But as you guys can see there in the chart, we are coming towards the end of summer grilling season, and seasonally, all of those values have a tendency to drop, and also for cutouts and for futures, it looks like we might be near the highs, and also looking at a season when it might drop off as we go into fall. As so far, demand has been the supportive factor, and packers have been bidding up for supply, for ready supply for the summer grilling and also for the summer demand. This here is a map of the precipitation situation in Western Canada. We had some recent rains that helped boost the soil moisture, but the damage from the early season drought seems to have taken its toll on some of those crops. The recent rains would definitely help the latter planted crops, but it does not cure the whole issue with drought that impacted the crops, especially canola during the earlier part of the growing season. So today, Trump is meeting with Putin in Alaska for a summit, and there would be discussions on the Ukraine war. The objective, as far as the U.S. side is concerned, is to agree to a ceasefire and to an end to the war. But the big question is at what cost? So Trump has already landed in Alaska. There would be a press conference when the announcements would be made. Does he have a peace deal in his back pocket? And there again, who's going to be the big winner? A lot of question marks, but the market optimism on a ceasefire is 50% as of now. Too many unknowns there. So like I was saying, the crop tour, the Great Ontario Yield Tour for this year is ongoing. Follow us on Twitter for the latest. And also, if you're a farmer in Ontario, please join us for one of our final events. I'll leave a link for that as well in the description. And also check out the latest as far as the crop update is concerned from Mo and Henry Prinzen. I'll leave a link for that as well in the description. Thank you guys for joining us today for the podcast, and you guys have a great weekend, and catch you guys next week. Mo should be here for the podcast next week, and we'll talk about what the final. Not the final yields possibly, but what the crop tour is showing us a snapshot of what we've seen so far. Take care, guys. Till next time.